What if I told you that every drop of water you've ever tasted has traveled through the heart of dying stars, drifted across billions of miles of empty space, and survived cosmic collisions that could vaporize entire planets? And yet, here it is, flowing gently through your body right now, carrying the memory of the universe itself. Tonight, as you settle into comfort and let your mind wander, we're going to follow water on the most incredible journey ever told. In the next 3 hours, you'll discover how this simple molecule holds secrets that NASA kept classified for decades, why ancient civilizations worshipped it as divine, and how its arrival on Earth was so impossibly unlikely that it challenges everything we thought we knew about our cosmic neighborhood. Scientists recently uncovered evidence that the water in your glass right now, wait for it, is actually older than the sun itself. Let that sink in for a moment. You're drinking liquid stardust that witnessed the birth of our solar system. Before we begin this cosmic adventure, take a moment to like this video, subscribe for more peaceful science journeys, and comment below with your country and what time you're listening. I love seeing our global community of cosmic dreamers come together. Some of you are watching sunrise, others are embracing the deep night. All of us are about to discover something extraordinary. Are you ready to uncover the hidden story of water? The most incredible part comes next. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine floating in the vast darkness of space. 4.6 billion years ago, there is no Earth yet, no sun, no solar system as we know it, just a slowly rotating cloud of gas and dust stretching across trillions of miles, cold and patient and pregnant with possibility. This is the solar nebula, our cosmic nursery. And hidden within this seemingly empty void, something remarkable is happening. Tiny grains of dust, no bigger than the particles that dance in your afternoon sunbeam, are beginning to stick together. But these aren't ordinary dust particles. They're cosmic diamonds, frozen methane, and most importantly, they're ice crystals. Water ice, carrying the chemical signature of ancient supernovas. Here's what NASA's deep space telescopes revealed that will make you question everything. These water molecules didn't form in our solar system. They're immigrants from deep space, refugees from stellar explosions that happened when the universe was young. Each molecule carries within it the memory of stars that died before our sun was even a whisper of possibility. Picture this cosmic dance as gravity slowly pulls the nebula inward. These water-rich particles begin their first great journey. They spiral inward like cosmic snowflakes, but instead of melting, they're about to become the building blocks of something extraordinary. The temperature here is minus 400 degrees Fahrenheit, so cold that water doesn't just freeze, it becomes harder than steel. But wait, there's something even more incredible happening. These water molecules aren't just passive passengers. They're actually helping to create the very planets they'll one day call home. As they collide and stick together, they begin forming larger and larger chunks of ice and rock. Some will become asteroids, others will grow into comets, and a very special few, will find their way to a small, rocky planet that's about to emerge from this cosmic chaos. The most amazing part? Every water molecule in your body right now was there, in that ancient cloud, waiting patiently for Earth to be born, so it could begin the next chapter of its incredible journey. What happens next will challenge everything you thought you knew about how water arrived on our world. Now, let's witness something truly extraordinary. As our solar nebula continues its slow gravitational dance, a miracle begins to unfold. The center of the cloud grows denser and hotter until suddenly, like a cosmic light switch being flipped, nuclear fusion ignites. Our sun is born in a brilliant flash that sends shockwaves rippling through the entire system. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. This newborn sun is nothing like the gentle, life-giving star we know today. It's a violent, chaotic beast, hurling solar winds so powerful they could strip the atmosphere from planets. And in this cosmic hurricane, something heartbreaking happens to our water dot picture, the inner solar system as a giant cosmic washing machine. The sun's intense radiation and solar wind are so powerful that they literally blow away most of the water that had collected near Earth's orbit. It's as if the universe is playing a cruel joke, bringing water all this way from distant stars, only to strip it away, just as Earth is being born. For millions of years, our young planet is a hellish ball of molten rock, constantly bombarded by asteroids and comets. The surface temperature reaches 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, enough to melt copper. Any water that somehow survived the sun's initial fury would instantly vaporize and escape into space. This is what scientists call the late heavy bombardment. And it presents us with one of the most fascinating mysteries in all of science. If Earth was born dry, and if the early sun stripped away any water that tried to gather nearby, then how did our blue marble become the water world we know and love? Here's where the story becomes absolutely extraordinary. Those same cosmic impacts that seemed so destructive, they were actually Earth's salvation. But the water wasn't coming from where anyone expected. Deep in the outer reaches of our solar system, beyond the orbit of Jupiter, where the sun's violence couldn't reach, vast quantities of water had survived in the form of ice-covered comets and asteroids. These cosmic icebergs had been patiently orbiting for millions of years, like a vast celestial reservoir waiting for the right moment. And then, something changed the cosmic dance forever. The gravitational pull of the giant planets Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune began shifting the orbits of these water-rich objects. It was like a cosmic game of billiards, with planets as cue balls and comets as the targets. One by one, these icy visitors began their long journey toward the inner solar system. What happened next would deliver more water to Earth than exists in all our oceans, lakes, and rivers combined. But the most incredible part of this story is still to come. Now we enter one of the most spectacular chapters in Earth's story, a cosmic delivery service that operated for hundreds of millions of years, bringing our planet the gift that would make life possible. Imagine looking up at the early Earth sky and seeing not one or two shooting stars, but thousands upon thousands of brilliant streaks of light every single night. Comets, some as large as mountains, others as small as houses, all carrying their precious cargo of frozen water toward our young world. But here's what makes this story even more incredible. These weren't random deliveries. Recent discoveries have revealed that the comets arriving at Earth came from two distinct regions of our solar system, each carrying water with a slightly different signature, like cosmic fingerprints that scientists can still detect today. The first wave came from the Kuiper Belt, that distant ring of icy objects beyond Neptune's orbit. These comets had been formed in the cold, quiet outer reaches of our solar system, where water ice could accumulate in vast quantities. As they streaked toward Earth, their surfaces would begin to sublimate, transform directly from ice to vapor, in great, glowing tails that stretched millions of miles behind them. When these cosmic snowballs struck Earth's surface, they delivered not just water, but entire libraries of complex organic compounds, carbon-based molecules that would later become essential building blocks of life. In a very real sense, comets weren't just bringing water to Earth. They were bringing the chemical ingredients for biology itself. But the most surprising discovery came when scientists analyzed the isotopic signature of these comet impacts. The water they delivered doesn't quite match the water in our oceans today. This revelation opened up an entirely new chapter in our understanding of how Earth became a water world. The second wave of deliveries came from an unexpected source: asteroids from the inner asteroid belt. These rocky objects, which scientists had long assumed were dry and lifeless, turned out to be carrying significant amounts of water locked away in their mineral structures. When they impacted Earth, the tremendous heat and pressure would free this hidden water, adding it to our planet's growing inventory. Here's where the story becomes beautifully poetic. Every impact, whether from a comet or asteroid, was like a raindrop falling into a growing puddle. Except this puddle was planetary in scale, and each raindrop carried the mass of a small mountain dot over the course of several 100 million years. These cosmic deliveries filled Earth's basins and created the first oceans. But the water didn't just sit still, it began to cycle. Evaporation lifted it into the atmosphere, where it formed clouds and fell as rain, gradually cooling the planet's surface and creating the stable conditions that would eventually allow life to emerge. The most remarkable part? This process was incredibly inefficient. For every molecule of water that successfully made it to Earth's surface and stayed there, hundreds of others were lost to space, blown away by solar winds, or boiled off by the intense heat of impact. Our oceans represent just a tiny fraction of all the water that Cosmic Delivery Service attempted to bring us. And yet, against all odds, it was exactly enough. Not too little, which would have left Earth as a desert world. Not too much, which might have created a water world with no land at all. The amount was perfect for the emergence of continents, weather patterns, and eventually, life itself. But the story of our water is far from over. What happened next would transform these simple H2O molecules into something even more extraordinary. Now that water has found its home on Earth, let's dive deeper into the remarkable nature of this extraordinary molecule. As you listen, take a moment to really feel your connection to this story. The water in your body and every cell, flowing through every organ, is the same water we're talking about. You are part of this cosmic tale. H2O seems so simple, doesn't it? Two hydrogen atoms bonded to one oxygen atom. But this molecular simplicity hides some of the most unusual and life-enabling properties in the entire universe. Scientists have discovered that water is truly an alien substance if we encountered it for the first time on a distant planet. We'd consider it one of the strangest materials we'd ever found. Think about this for a moment. Almost every substance in the universe becomes denser as it cools and solidifies. But water? Water does something utterly unique. As it freezes, it expands and becomes less dense. This means ice floats on liquid water, a property so unusual that if it didn't exist, life on Earth might never have evolved. Picture those early Earth oceans during the planet's first ice ages. If water behaved like every other substance, the ice would have been denser than liquid water. It would have sunk to the bottom of the oceans, gradually freezing them solid from the bottom up. Instead, ice formed protective layers on the surface, insulating the liquid water beneath and preserving the conditions where life could eventually emerge. But water's strangeness goes much deeper. Each water molecule acts like a tiny magnet, with a slight positive charge on the hydrogen side and a slight negative charge on the oxygen side. This creates what scientists call hydrogen bonds, weak attractions that cause water molecules to stick together in constantly shifting networks. These hydrogen bonds give water almost magical properties. They're why water has such a high boiling point. It takes a lot of energy to break all those molecular handshakes. They're why water is such an excellent solvent, able to dissolve more substances than any other liquid on Earth. And they're why water can absorb and store enormous amounts of heat, making our planet's climate stable and moderate. On a molecular level, water is in constant motion. Even in the seemingly still water of a quiet lake, trillions of molecules are dancing, forming and breaking hydrogen bonds millions of times per second. It's a molecular ballet that never stops, never rests, a dance that has been going on for billions of years. Here's something that will change how you think about every drink you take. The water molecules in your glass right now have been part of clouds over ancient Egypt, have fallen as rain in prehistoric forests, have been inside the bodies of dinosaurs, and have traveled through underground rivers for thousands of years. Each molecule is an ancient wanderer, carrying the story of our planet in its atomic structure. And here's perhaps the most beautiful part of all. Water molecules are constantly cycling between different forms and locations, but they're virtually indestructible. The same water that witnessed the birth of the first life forms in primordial oceans could be part of a snowflake falling outside your window tonight. Scientists estimate that every glass of water you drink contains molecules that have been drunk by every person who has ever lived. You share this water with Napoleon, with Shakespeare, with your great-great-grandmother. It connects you not just to the cosmos that created it, but to every living thing that has ever existed on our planet. This molecular immortality means that water is not just a substance, it's a library of experiences, a keeper of memories from every environment it has ever encountered. And as we'll discover in the next part of our journey, this memory-keeping ability would become crucial for the next great chapter in water's story, the emergence of life itself. Take a deep breath and let this cosmic connection settle into your awareness. You are made of stardust and ancient waters, connected to the deepest mysteries of space and time. As we float deeper into our story, let's explore one of the universe's most profound mysteries: how lifeless water became the cradle of life itself. This chapter of our journey takes us to the very edge of the unknown, where chemistry becomes biology, where the inanimate becomes alive. Picture Earth about 3.8 billion years ago. The violent bombardment has finally ended, and our planet has settled into a more peaceful rhythm. The first stable oceans stretch across much of the surface, their waters a complex soup of dissolved minerals and organic compounds, delivered by those ancient comets and asteroids. But these aren't the clear blue waters you might imagine. Early, Earth's oceans were more like a vast planetary laboratory, murky with dissolved iron, rich with methane and ammonia, and lacking the oxygen that gives our modern seas their brilliant color. The atmosphere above contains almost no oxygen either. This is an alien world, yet it's about to nurture something extraordinary. In the warm, shallow pools along early coastlines, something remarkable is beginning to happen. Water molecules aren't just serving as passive containers, they're becoming active participants in chemical reactions of incredible complexity. The hydrogen bonds that hold water molecules together create microscopic structures, tiny pockets and channels where other molecules can gather and interact. Here's where the story becomes almost magical. Water doesn't just dissolve substances, it organizes them. The polar nature of water molecules means they can shepherd other molecules into specific arrangements, creating conditions where complex chemistry becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Scientists call these special environments hydrothermal vents, but imagine them as underwater oases, places where hot, mineral-rich water streams up from deep within the earth, creating natural laboratories where the laws of chemistry begin to write the first chapters of biology. In these underwater gardens, water plays the role of both stage and director. It provides the medium where simple molecules can find each other, react, and form more complex structures. Amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, begin to link together in chains. Nucleic acids start forming the patterns that will eventually become DNA. But here's what makes this process truly extraordinary. Water isn't just facilitating these reactions. It's actively protecting the delicate molecular structures as they form. Those hydrogen bonds that make water so unusual also create a gentle, cushioning environment that shields fragile organic molecules from destruction. Think of it this way. If the early Earth was a cosmic kitchen, water was the master chef, carefully controlling temperature, providing the right environment for mixing, and protecting delicate ingredients from burning or breaking apart. The emergence of the first self-replicating molecules, the ancestors of all life on Earth, happened in water's embrace. These primitive life forms weren't just surrounded by water. They were made mostly of water. Even today, your body is roughly 60% water, and that percentage was even higher for the earliest living cells. Water became life's most intimate partner. It flows through cell membranes, carrying nutrients and removing waste. It provides the medium for every biochemical reaction in your body. It maintains the precise shapes of proteins that make life possible. Without water's constant presence and participation, life as we know it would be impossible. But perhaps most beautifully, water also became life's memory keeper. The first living cells learned to use water's unique properties to store and transmit information. The double helix of DNA relies on water molecules to maintain its structure and enable the precise copying that allows traits to pass from one generation to the next. As simple cells evolved and diversified, water remained their constant companion. It enabled the development of photosynthesis, a process that would begin producing oxygen and transforming our planet's atmosphere. It facilitated the evolution of more complex cells, and eventually the emergence of multicellular life. Every creature that has ever lived has carried within it the same water that witnessed life's first moments. The water in your body connects you directly to those earliest living cells, making you part of an unbroken chain of life that stretches back billions of years. As we continue our gentle journey through time, we'll discover how water continued to shape the evolution of life, creating the conditions for ever greater complexity and beauty. But for now, just rest in the knowledge that you are made of the same substance that cradled the first spark of life in our universe. Now we drift forward in time to witness one of the most dramatic transformations in Earth's history, a change so profound that it nearly ended life before it really began, and yet ultimately made possible every complex living thing, including you. About 2.4 billion years ago, something unprecedented began happening in Earth's oceans. Tiny, microscopic organisms called cyanobacteria, some of the first life forms to master photosynthesis, started doing something revolutionary with water. They learned to split H2O molecules apart, using the hydrogen to build organic compounds and releasing oxygen as waste. At first, this seemed insignificant. These microscopic pioneers were so small that billions of them could fit in a drop of water. But like so many of water's stories, the power lay not in individual action, but in the cumulative effect of countless tiny events happening over vast periods of time. Imagine floating in those ancient seas, witnessing the very first bubbles of oxygen rising from mats of cyanobacteria. Each bubble represents a water molecule that has been split apart, sacrificing its unity so that life could continue and evolve. The hydrogen is incorporated into sugars and other organic compounds, while the oxygen, initially just waste, begins to accumulate in the atmosphere. This process, scientists call the Great Oxygenation Event, and it represents one of water's most profound gifts to life, but it came at a terrible cost. Oxygen, which we now think of as essential for life, was actually poisonous to most of the life forms that existed at that time. As oxygen levels in the atmosphere began to rise, it created what some scientists call the oxygen holocaust, the first great mass extinction in Earth's history. Most of the anaerobic bacteria that had flourished in the oxygen-free world began to die off, poisoned by the very substance that their fellow organisms were producing from water. It was as if water's children were inadvertently destroying their siblings, remaking the world in the process. But here's where the story becomes beautiful again. The organisms that survived this crisis didn't just adapt to oxygen, they learned to harness its power. Oxygen-breathing life forms developed cellular respiration, a process that could extract far more energy from food than had ever been possible before. This abundance of energy made possible the evolution of larger, more complex cells and eventually multicellular life. Water played a crucial role in this transformation. Not only did it provide the raw material for oxygen production, but its unique properties also enabled the development of more sophisticated cellular structures. The same hydrogen bonds that give water its unusual characteristics also make it perfect for forming the complex membranes and internal structures that advanced cells require. As you breathe in and out right now, you're participating in this ancient partnership between water and oxygen. Every breath you take draws in oxygen that was once part of a water molecule, split apart billions of years ago by some microscopic organism floating in a primordial sea. And every breath you exhale returns water vapor to the atmosphere, continuing the endless cycle that began so long ago. The oxygen in our atmosphere today, the oxygen that fills your lungs and energizes every cell in your body, exists only because countless water molecules sacrificed their molecular bonds over billions of years. It's a gift that keeps on giving, renewed constantly by the photosynthesis happening in plants and algae around the world, all of them continuing the work those first cyanobacteria began so long ago. This transformation also changed water itself. As oxygen accumulated in the atmosphere, it began forming ozone in the upper atmosphere, creating a protective shield that filtered out harmful ultraviolet radiation. This made it possible for life to eventually leave the protective embrace of water and colonize the land. But water wasn't finished with its gifts. As we'll discover next, it had one more extraordinary role to play in the story of life on Earth, becoming the highway that would carry life from the seas to every corner of our planet. Let's now follow water as it begins one of the most elegant dances in nature, the global circulation that connects every drop of ocean water with every cloud in the sky, every raindrop with every river, creating a planetary circulatory system that makes Earth a living, breathing world. Imagine you could see water's movement across our planet as streams of light, brilliant ribbons flowing from oceans to atmosphere, from clouds to mountains, from rivers back to seas. What you would witness is perhaps the most beautiful example of planetary scale organization in our solar system, the water cycle in all its magnificent complexity. This dance begins with the sun's gentle warming of the ocean surface. Water molecules, energized by solar radiation, break free from the liquid surface tension and rise into the atmosphere as invisible vapor. Each molecule carries with it not just hydrogen and oxygen, but also heat energy, thermal memories of its time in the sun-warmed seas. As these molecules rise higher into the atmosphere, they encounter cooler temperatures. The hydrogen bonds that make water so special begin to reassert themselves, and the vapor condenses around tiny particles of dust and salt, many of them the same cosmic dust that helped form our solar system billions of years ago. Clouds form, each one a floating river containing millions of tons of water. But here's where the story becomes truly extraordinary. These clouds don't just drift randomly. They follow ancient pathways carved by temperature differences, mountain ranges, and the Earth's rotation. The same forces that shaped continents and ocean basins also guide these aerial rivers along predictable routes, creating weather patterns that have remained remarkably stable for thousands of years. Picture a single water molecule beginning this journey in the warm waters of the Pacific Ocean near the equator. Solar energy lifts it into the atmosphere, where it joins a massive cloud system. Trade winds carry it westward across thousands of miles of ocean until it encounters the mountains of Asia. Forced upward by the terrain, it cools and condenses, joining countless other molecules in a raindrop that falls into the Himalayan snow. For years, perhaps decades, our molecule remains frozen in a glacier, slowly moving downhill with the flow of ice. Eventually, warmer temperatures free it, and it begins the long journey down mountain streams, through great rivers, across vast plains, carrying with it minerals and nutrients that will nourish life along its path. This water highway connects every ecosystem on Earth, The rain that waters the Amazon rainforest contains molecules that were once part of Atlantic Ocean waves. The snow falling in the Rocky Mountains includes water that evaporated from the Pacific. Every river, lake, and stream is part of this vast, interconnected system. What makes this circulation truly remarkable is its role in regulating Earth's climate. Water's high heat capacity means that oceans act like enormous thermal batteries, storing heat during warm periods and releasing it during cooler times. Ocean currents carry warm water toward the poles and cold water toward the equator, moderating temperature extremes and creating the stable climate that complex life requires. The Gulf Stream, for instance, carries warm water from the Caribbean all the way to Western Europe, making countries like Britain much warmer than they would otherwise be at their latitude. This river within the ocean moves more water than all the rivers on land combined, demonstrating water's incredible power to shape not just individual landscapes, but entire continents' climates. And here's something beautiful to contemplate as you drift towards sleep. The water cycle operates on every timescale imaginable. Some water molecules complete the journey from ocean to atmosphere, to rain to river, in just days. Others remain locked in deep ocean currents for centuries or frozen in polar ice for thousands of years. A few become part of underground aquifers, flowing slowly through rock formations for millions of years before returning to the surface. This means that the water in your body right now includes molecules that have experienced every part of this global journey. Some have been deep ocean voyagers, others have been cloud dancers, still others have been patient underground travelers. Each one carries memories of countless environments and experiences. As we continue our gentle exploration, we'll discover how this global water system enabled life to spread from the oceans to every corner of our planet, creating the rich, diverse biosphere that surrounds us today. In this chapter of our peaceful journey, we witness one of the most courageous adventures in the history of life, the moment when living things first left water's protective embrace to explore the alien world of dry land. For nearly 3 billion years, life had known only water. Every living thing, from the smallest bacteria to the most complex early organisms, had lived their entire existence surrounded by H2O's gentle, supporting presence. Water carried their nutrients, removed their waste, protected them from temperature extremes, and provided the medium for all their biochemical processes. But about 470 million years ago, some pioneering organisms began to sense possibilities beyond the water's edge. Perhaps it started with simple algae in shallow pools that occasionally dried up, forcing them to develop ways to survive brief periods of exposure to air. Or maybe it began with microscopic life forms that learned to form protective films on their surfaces, creating their own tiny water environments even when surrounded by air. Picture those first brave explorers, probably simple plants, primitive mosses, and liverworts, as they began the gradual transition from aquatic to terrestrial life. They faced challenges that seem almost insurmountable. How to obtain water without being surrounded by it. How to support their bodies without water's buoyancy. How to reproduce without water to carry their genetic material to potential mates. Solutions they evolved are testaments to water's continued partnership with life, even outside its direct presence. These early land plants developed root systems that could seek out water in soil, vascular systems that could transport water throughout their bodies, and waxy coatings that could prevent water loss to the dry air. Most remarkably, they learned to carry water with them. Every plant cell became a tiny aquarium, maintaining the aquatic environment that life required while existing in the alien realm of air. In a very real sense, land plants didn't abandon water. They learned to create portable oceans within themselves. Animals faced even greater challenges when they began their own migration to land. Fish that ventured into shallow waters needed to develop ways to extract oxygen from air instead of water. Amphibians became the great pioneers, developing lungs for breathing air while still returning to water to reproduce. But here's what's truly beautiful about this transition. Water remained the essential partner throughout. The first land animals still carried their aquatic heritage in every cell. Their blood was essentially seawater, maintaining the same salt concentrations as the ancient oceans where life began. Their reproductive cells still required water to survive and function. Even today, this partnership continues in every living thing on Earth. Your body is still fundamentally aquatic. You're essentially a highly sophisticated collection of seawater-filled cells that have learned to walk around on land. Every physiological process in your body happens in water, using water. With water as an essential participant, the colonization of land by life represents one of water's greatest gifts, the ability to support life's expansion into entirely new environments while maintaining the essential conditions that life requires. Water didn't just stay behind in the oceans, it came along for the adventure, hidden within the bodies and cells of every terrestrial organism. This migration also transformed the land itself. As plants established themselves on continents, they began to change the very landscape. Their roots broke down rocks, creating soil. Their presence altered local weather patterns, creating more opportunities for rain. They began to cycle nutrients between land and water, connecting terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems in entirely new ways. The success of this great migration can be seen all around us today. Every forest, every grassland, every garden is a testament to life's ability to carry water with it into new environments. And every breath you take, every heartbeat, every thought you think is made possible by the water that continues to flow through your body. Maintaining your connection to those ancient oceans where your ancestors began their journey as we move into the more peaceful parts of our story. Let yourself feel this deep connection to water's ongoing adventure. You are part of this great migration, carrying ancient oceans within you, participating in water's continuous journey through space and time. Now, as our journey grows quieter and more peaceful, let's follow the gentle pathways of Earth's rivers. Those ancient arteries that have been carrying water's gifts across continents for millions of years, creating some of the most serene and life-giving landscapes on our planet. Imagine floating peacefully on a slow-moving river, surrounded by the soft sounds of flowing water. This river, like all rivers, is part of water's never-ending journey home to the sea. But its path is neither rushed nor straight. It meanders gently through valleys, taking its time, creating beauty along the way. Rivers are among water's most patient teachers. They show us that persistence and gentleness can carve through the hardest stone, that steady, consistent effort can reshape entire landscapes. The Grand Canyon, one of Earth's most spectacular features, was carved not by violent forces, but by the Colorado River flowing peacefully for millions of years. Each drop of water gradually wearing away microscopic particles of rock dot. As you visualize this gentle process, feel your own body relaxing in harmony with water's patient rhythm. Just as rivers flow around obstacles rather than fighting them, allow any tension in your muscles to simply flow away, following the same natural pathways that water has followed for eons. Rivers create their own peaceful ecosystems. The slower moving sections become home to cattails and water lily, their roots anchored in the soft sediment that the river has lovingly deposited over countless seasons. Fish find shelter in the deeper pools, while birds nest along the banks, their songs mixing with the gentle murmur of flowing water. These riverine environments demonstrate water's nurturing spirit. The regular flooding cycles bring fresh nutrients to surrounding lands, creating some of the most fertile soils on Earth. Ancient civilizations recognized this gift and built their communities along river valleys, understanding intuitively that water brings not just life, but prosperity and peace. The Nile, the Ganges, the Amazon, The Mississippi, these great rivers have witnessed the entire span of human history, flowing past countless generations, carrying the same water that has sustained life for millions of years. Their gentle, persistent movement has remained constant, even as empires have risen and fallen along their banks. Think about the water molecule that might have traveled down the Amazon River system. Beginning as raindrops in the Andes Mountains, it joins thousands of tributaries, each one adding its own character to the growing stream. It passes through rainforests, where it provides life to countless species, flows past indigenous communities who have lived in harmony with the river for thousands of years, and eventually reaches the Atlantic Ocean, completing another cycle. In water's eternal journey, rivers also create some of nature's most soothing sounds. The gentle babbling of a brook, the soft murmur of a slow-moving stream, the rhythmic lapping of water against the shore. These sounds have been part of the Earth's peaceful soundtrack for millions of years. They speak to something deep in our evolutionary memory, reminding us of our intimate connection to water and the natural world. Modern science has discovered that the sound of flowing water actually has measurable effects on human physiology. It can lower blood pressure, reduce stress hormones, and promote the brainwave patterns associated with relaxation and sleep. This isn't surprising when we remember that we evolved alongside these gentle water sounds, that they formed the acoustic backdrop for most of human history. As you listen to this story, imagine the peaceful sound of a gentle stream flowing nearby. Let its rhythm guide your breathing, slow and steady, in harmony with water's ancient cadence. Feel yourself becoming part of this timeless flow, your thoughts drifting like leaves on a quiet river, moving naturally toward rest and peace. Rivers remind us that the most powerful forces in nature often work through gentleness and persistence, rather than violence and haste. Water doesn't push against obstacles, it finds ways around them, gradually wearing them smooth, transforming the landscape with patience and grace. In our next gentle chapter, we'll explore how water continues to shape our world through equally peaceful but powerful processes, creating the conditions for rest, renewal, and dreams. As we drift deeper into our peaceful exploration, let's descend slowly into the most serene and mysterious realm on our planet, the deep ocean, where water holds its most ancient secrets and creates environments of extraordinary tranquility. Imagine sinking gently through layers of increasingly quiet water, each depth offering a deeper level of peace and stillness. The surface waves fade to a memory above you as you enter water's most meditative space, the deep ocean realm, where time moves differently, where life follows slower, more peaceful rhythms. Here, in the abyssal depths, water exists in its most stable and peaceful form. The temperature hovers just a few degrees above freezing, remaining constant year after year, decade after decade. The pressure is immense, hundreds of times greater than at the surface, yet this creates not stress, but a profound stillness where water molecules move in slow, graceful patterns. The deep ocean is water's meditation chamber. No sunlight has ever reached these depths. No storms disturb this eternal calm. The water here is some of the oldest on our planet. Some of it has been circulating in these deep currents for over 1,000 years, moving in vast, slow spirals that connect ocean basins across the globe. Picture these ancient currents as Earth's slow-breathing water sinking in the cold polar regions, flowing along the ocean floor for centuries, gradually warming and rising again in distant tropical waters. This thermaline circulation, as scientists call it, is like a planetary heartbeat, pumping nutrients and oxygen to every corner of the ocean with patient, rhythmic persistence. In this deep realm, life has learned water's lessons of patience and efficiency. Creatures here move slowly, conserve energy, and have adapted to find beauty and sustenance in the most minimal conditions. Bioluminescent organisms create gentle, flickering light-sliving stars in water's dark sky, communicating through soft glows that disturb nothing, demand nothing, simply exist in quiet harmony. The deep ocean trenches Earth's deepest valleys contain water under pressure so extreme that it takes on almost solid-like properties while remaining liquid. Yet even in these most extreme conditions, water continues to support life, creating environments where organisms have learned to thrive in what might seem like impossible conditions. These depths hold water's longest memories, the water molecules. Here have traveled the entire globe multiple times, carrying with them dissolved minerals from every continent, chemical signatures from every ecosystem they've passed through. They are libraries of oceanic experience, holding information about Earth's climate and chemistry, spanning hundreds of years. As you imagine floating in this peaceful abyss, feel yourself supported by water's infinite patience. There is no rush. Here, no urgency. Time moves like the deep currents themselves, slowly, purposefully, in harmony with natural rhythms that are far older and wiser than human anxieties or concerns. The silence here is profound, broken only by the gentle sounds of life adapted to this quiet realm. The soft clicking of deep-sea creatures communicating through sound, the almost inaudible movement of water through underwater canyons, the whisper-quiet passage of marine snow, tiny particles of organic matter drifting down from the surface world like a gentle, eternal snowfall. This marine snow carries nutrients from the sunlit surface waters down to the deep ocean communities, connecting the bright world above with the peaceful darkness below. Each particle is a gift from the upper ocean to the deep, showing how water unites all levels of the sea. In a continuous exchange of life and energy, let yourself sink deeper into this meditative space, where water's ancient wisdom speaks in whispers and gentle movements. Here, in the deep ocean's embrace, you can feel connected to the most peaceful and stable environment on our planet, where water has been maintaining perfect conditions for life for millions upon millions of years. The deep ocean reminds us that true peace comes not from the absence of pressure, but from adaptation to it, from finding ways to thrive in stillness, to create beauty in darkness, to maintain life through patience and gentle persistence. As we continue our journey toward rest, we'll explore how water's lessons of peace and patience extend to the most intimate scales, creating harmony within every living cell. Now, let us turn our attention to the most intimate space where water works, its quiet magic within the microscopic ocean that exists inside every cell of your body. As you relax more deeply, become aware that you are, in the most literal sense, a walking water world, carrying millions of tiny aquatic environments wherever you go. Each of your cells is like a microscopic island surrounded by water and filled with water and sustained by water's gentle ministrations. The cell membrane that defines the boundary of each cell is not a solid wall, but a selective filter that allows water to flow in and out in precise, measured amounts, maintaining the perfect balance that life requires. Within each cell, water molecules move in graceful, three-dimensional dances, carrying nutrients to where they're needed, transporting waste products to where they can be safely removed, and providing the aquatic medium where thousands of biochemical reactions occur every second. Yet despite this constant activity, there is something profoundly peaceful about cellular life. It follows rhythms and patterns that have been refined over billions of years. Picture the water molecules inside one of your cells as you rest. There, not randomly bouncing around, they're moving in organized flows, following chemical gradients and electrical signals, responding to the cell's needs with the same patient efficiency that water has always shown. Some water molecules are bound to proteins, helping maintain their precise shapes. Others flow freely through the cellular fluid, available for whatever task might arise. The most remarkable thing about cellular water is how it manages to maintain such precise conditions within such a tiny space. A concentration of salts, sugars, and other dissolved substances is kept within incredibly narrow ranges that echo the composition of the ancient seas where life first evolved. Your cells are carrying within them a chemical memory of Earth's earliest oceans. This cellular water also maintains perfect temperature regulation, absorbing excess heat when cellular processes run hot and releasing stored thermal energy when warming is needed. It's like having millions of microscopic thermostats, all working together to keep your body temperature stable while you sleep. In your brain cells, water plays an especially beautiful role. It helps maintain the electrical gradients that allow neurons to communicate, and it provides the medium through which neurotransmitters travel from one nerve cell to another. The thoughts and dreams flowing through your mind right now are carried by water, just as rivers carry boats or currents. Carry marine life. As your body prepares for sleep, water shifts its activities to match your changing needs. The flow of cerebrospinal fluid, the specialized water that bathes your brain and spinal cord, increases during sleep, helping to wash away metabolic waste products that have accumulated during the day. It's like a gentle nightly housekeeping service, keeping your nervous system clean and refreshed. Your blood, which is about 55% water, slows its pace as your heart rate decreases. But even in this slower rhythm, water continues its essential work, carrying oxygen to every tissue, removing carbon dioxide, distributing hormones that regulate sleep, and maintaining the precise chemical balance that allows for peaceful rest. At the molecular level, water's hydrogen bonds are constantly forming and breaking, creating a dynamic network that responds instantly to your body's changing needs. As you breathe more slowly and deeply in preparation for sleep, water adjusts its behavior accordingly, facilitating the biochemical changes that promote rest and recovery. The water in your body tonight contains molecules that have been part of clouds over the Amazon, rainfall in the Sahara, underground rivers beneath the Himalayas. Yet right now, these world travelers are content to move gently through your cells, supporting your life, enabling your dreams, participating in the most intimate aspects of your existence. Feel the presence of this internal ocean as you rest. Every cell in your body is a peaceful aquatic sanctuary, perfectly maintained by waters. Ancient wisdom. You are not separate from the water cycle we've been exploring. You are part of it, carrying Earth's waters within you, participating in the same eternal circulation that connects all life on our planet. As we move into the final phases of our journey, let yourself merge more completely with water's peaceful rhythm, feeling your consciousness flowing like a gentle stream toward the restful depths of sleep. As we enter the peaceful final chapters of our journey, let's rest in the gentle understanding of water's most comforting truth, that everything in its realm follows cycles of renewal, that nothing is ever truly lost, that every ending is simply preparation for a new beginning. The water cycle we've been exploring throughout our time together is more than just a physical process. It's a metaphor for renewal that operates at every scale, from the vast movements of ocean currents to the gentle circulation of fluid within your cells. As you prepare for sleep, let yourself be carried by this understanding of water's eternal promise of regeneration. Think of how peacefully a lake rests at night, its surface becoming mirror still under the stars. Yet even in this apparent stillness, the water is slowly cycling molecules, evaporating silently into the cool night air, others condensing from invisible vapor back into liquid form. The lake is breathing, so gently that it disturbs nothing, yet constantly renewing itself. This same quiet renewal is happening throughout your body as you rest. The water in your bloodstream is carrying away the metabolic waste products of the day, while bringing fresh nutrients to cells that are preparing for tomorrow's activities. Your kidneys are gently filtering and purifying your internal waters, maintaining the precise chemical balance that will greet you when you wake. In your brain, cerebrospinal fluid is flowing more rapidly and during your waking hours, washing through neural pathways like a gentle tide, clearing away the debris of conscious thought and preparing the neural landscape for dreams. This nightly cleansing is one of sleep's greatest gifts, a renewal process that has been happening every night for millions of years of evolutionary history. Water cycles of renewal operate on timescales that span from seconds to millennia. Some water molecules in tropical clouds complete their cycle from ocean to atmosphere to rain in just days. Others become locked in polar ice caps for thousands of years before returning to the global circulation. Still others join underground aquifers and travel slowly through rock formations for millions of years. But regardless of the timescale, every water molecule eventually returns to participate in life's ongoing story. The water that dinosaurs drank is still here, still cycling through plants and animals and clouds and streams. The water that filled the first primitive cells is still part of the biosphere, still supporting life in countless forms. This understanding brings profound peace, the knowledge that you are participating in processes far larger and more enduring than any individual life, yet intimate enough to flow through every cell in your body. You are both temporary and eternal, unique in your individual existence, yet made of substances that have supported life for billions of years. As you sink deeper into relaxation, imagine your own personal water cycle slowing and gentling. Your breathing becomes like the soft rhythm of waves on a peaceful shore. Your heartbeat echoes the slow pulse of deep ocean currents. Your thoughts begin to flow like a quiet stream, meandering peacefully toward the still pools of sleep. The water within you knows how to rest. It has been practicing the rhythms of activity and quiet, circulation and stillness for longer than continents have existed. Trust in this ancient wisdom. Let your body's waters carry you into the restorative cycles of sleep, where healing happens, where memories are processed and stored, where tomorrow's energy is quietly generated. In the morning, you'll wake refreshed, like a landscape after gentle rain, renewed, cleansed, ready for new growth. The water in your body will have completed countless microscopic cycles during the night, each one contributing to your restoration and well-being. This is water's greatest gift, not just life, but the promise that life can always begin again. That every sunset prepares the way for sunrise, that rest and renewal are built into the very fabric of existence. As we move toward the deepest part of our journey together, let yourself be embraced by this eternal promise of renewal.